Hi, my name is Paul Church from Claritystamp here in the UK. Thank you for joining me on Follow Up Friday. Earlier in the week I showcased you a set of beautiful floral aperture dies. So let's just have a quick recap on what they look like. We have Daisy and Friends, Chamomile and Friends, Marigold and Friends, one of my favourites, Periwinkle and Friends, Primrose and Friends, and I know one of Barbara's favourites, the Cornflower and Friends. So let me show you how to make something very simple but very elegant. So from this card here, all I've done is I've actually die cut onto a piece of black card, and then I've taken our white Pergamano pen and some dots all the way around. So I got my inspiration from Dee Paramore. She did a sample when we put our II books together. So our II books are a collection of books, and if you want to find out more about these, check out Tuesday's YouTube video where I go into a little bit more details. Otherwise, you can pop onto the website and check it out there. So where do we get started on this? Okay, so I'm going to bring in my plates from my Gemini, and I'm going to take a black piece of card that I've already cut down to size. And this time, rather than go with Daisy and Friends, I'm actually going to go with Marigold and Friends, just to show the difference between the two different designs. So I'm going to put that in the centre of my card. I'm going to take a little bit of tape to hold it in place, and then complete my sandwich. All of our dies work on leading? They work on most die cutting machines. It's been a long day, but at least you're at home and hopefully enjoying this. So I'm going to pop that to one side. I'm going to bring in my waste box, which has disappeared. Oh look, Magic Hands is bringing in, thank you Magic Hands, also known as Simon. So I'm going to carefully remove the tape so that I don't rip the card. There we go. And then we're going to pop that on there, and I'm just going to give it a light tap, and that is now completely empty. There's nothing left in the design whatsoever. Okay, so if I now look at the die, I'm just going to give that a quick tap on the hand, and then I'm going to bring in my little brush and just give that a little run over. Our dies have got a special coating on, so it stops the card from sticking in there. So there we go, we've got a completely clear die. Okay, so we'll pop that to one side now. But before we do, when we're running detailed dies through a machine, and if your plates are quite curved, which I know from experience that mine curve really badly because you're constantly using it. So what can happen is that the card, the actual design, can actually buckle. So what we're going to do is just run it back through the machine and treat it like a mangle. Okay, so we've now got a flat piece of artwork. So I'm going to bring a piece of paper in to put underneath so we can see it more clearly. So what I'm going to do is just give it a little tap. See all these little fibres coming off? So just give it a little tap, and what that does, it just gets rid of all of those little fibres that are still clinging on, and that's really a result of the static of it running through the machine. Okay, so if I bring into play the sample that I did, we can see here that we've got loads of these lovely little white dots. So we've got options. We can do dots, or we can do a faux stitch. But to start off with on this one, I'm actually going to go in and do the little dots. So for that, what I'm going to do is bring in our white Pergamano pen. I'm just going to take a scrap of card, and I'm just going to gently get the pen going. Now what I find with a lot of people say about the sort of gel pens in general is that when they start to go, if you go fast, what happens is that the ball bearing inside is moving too fast, so therefore the ink's not flowing. So the idea, if you go a lot slowly, then it allows the ink to flow more freely. And you'll notice that my voice is slowing down as I go slowly and slowly. But if I was to go you can see the difference. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, this is where you sort of relax and you really sort of chill out. Just choose a place to start, and all you're going to do, I'm going to get the pen going because I went mad on it. So just get the ink flowing, and then all you're going to do is do all these little dots all the way around the outside. Okay, so I've done one head of the flower. I say, rather than sort of bore you with it all, I'm going to bring one in now that's completely finished. Okay, so that probably took me about 10 minutes without interruption, 20 minutes if I stop for a coffee, but you can see how effective that is. And it really only becomes effective when you put it onto a white card. Okay, now when I was having a play with this, I thought, right, I can do the dots. The dots is really sort of nice. But what about faux stitching? So if I bring in, I'm going to get rid of the white card. So if I bring in, and we can see that this one here, I've done completely with dots. And then this one here, I've done with faux stitching. So again, using the white gel pen, the Pergamano gel pen, just take your time and you know, make out you stitched it by hand. If one of the lines go off, it's not as if you've got the sewing machine out, is it? But they look, when you look at them side by side, they're exactly the same image, but one's got dots on and one has dashes on. So the final thing to do really is decide which one I'm going to go with. So I'm going to go with the dotty one, and then I'm going to put the lid on my pen so it doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to take the tape runner, carefully go around the eggshell. Make sure it's dry before you turn your card over. How do I know that? So, and then we're going to go around the outside edge with that there, and then I'm going to take my trusty glue pen and just put a little bit of glue on the inside where the key points are, just to hold it in place. A few little dots there. I'm going to bring in my card blank. Turn it over, decide whether I want a card to open that way or whether I want it to open that. I think I'm going to go for a tent style on this one. Opening at the top, position that into place. My trusty piece of white paper over the top to press it down. Okay. And there we have, so I've got that one and I've got that one. Nice and easy. So I hope you've enjoyed today's little Friday tutorial. If you want more ideas and more inspiration, then look at the previous episode that was out on Tuesday. Don't forget, we've got the little II book as well to give you further ideas and inspiration once you get it home. If you like what you've seen, please leave a comment below and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And check out our website, which is www.claritystamp.com. Until next time, bye-bye.